Greetings, I'm Professor K, and I just want to do something different other than typing out an announcement and sending it out to everybody. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to create a YouTube video for the monthly announcement or whatever announcement it is, and then I'm just going to publish the link up inside of Udemy, and everybody can come on over here and look at it. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to give you an update of what's going on with me as far as course development goes. Okay, so right now in the works we have digital forensics and incident response. I got Adobe Photoshop. I got a Windows 10 course that is pretty close to being ready, and I've got a Capture the Flag version free. I also got my Windows Server 2019 and Server 2016 Part 2s almost ready to go. So that's where I'm at, right? So I got a lot of things in the fire. It's just a slow, arduous process of, it takes me all day, sometimes 2 days, if I'm not interrupted. If I get interrupted with requirements other than Udemy, well, then I have to stop and I have to come back to it and almost start all over again, because the building of the labs, the building of the videos takes time. There's the qualification or qualifying of the material. So when I build a lab, I have to test it. I have to make sure that it works. So I run through everything in the lab. I write the lab, I finish the lab, and once my lab is done, it's been proofed, then I'll sit down with the lab and I'll do the video. So you're looking at about 2 days, 3 days. That doesn't include having to build the practice networks or the practice labs, because there's a lot of things going on here that just requires either a new server, or I got to roll back using another point in time, and those things take time as well. All right, so let me show you something here. I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I figured out. I'm always learning something, right? Well, in this trick here, what you see is I've got some snapshots over here. So on this machine right here, I've got no Active Directory installed, and a current state. Now, right now, this machine has Active Directory installed, and that's what's running. But if I want to roll back to a time when this was a clean server and it had no Active Directory, I can just go up here and I can launch this snapshot that I took when it was clean, and I can do a restore. You see? All right. And the same thing with these other ones over here. So if I'm doing a forest route for DC1, then it's not a problem. I can just roll back and I can remove the DHCP failover. And the same thing with my replica. So when I'm doing these movies now, or I'm doing these labs, and I do major modifications, I like to do a clean snapshot, save it, and then if it's Active Directory, I'll go ahead and do another snapshot so that I can get back and forth between them. That really helps out when it comes time to doing the unintended. Not the unintended, I'm getting ahead of myself. That really saves a lot of time when it comes to creating these virtual machines, right? Because, if I don't do that and then I get caught up in the whole new scenario of hands-on lab learning, well, now I got to stop what I'm doing. I got to go up here, blow out all of these servers, and start a new lab again, which is not a big deal, except it's time consuming. All right, so there's an idea that you can use yourself to make sure that you have a way to roll back, and that's just by taking a snapshot. All right, so find your server, take a snapshot, and when you start that machine, it'll take a snapshot. Give it a user-friendly name. That's all you got to do, and you're done. Now, next time you want that machine back to that previous state, maybe you don't want it with an IP config. Maybe you don't want it with Active Directory. Maybe you just want it a workstation or a work group server. Well, now you got the snapshot, just roll it back and you're good to go. All right. I just want to share that with everybody. Now, another thing that you can do, and I'm still working on this, but you can try to do an unintended install. Now, I have one here. And what this does, it uses an answer file. So you have to get the ISO image. You have to extract it. You have to build an answer file, put it to the root of that folder. Then you have to save it as an ISO image. And that's the file that you're going to use to do the unintended install. So what is that? Well, the unintended install means that I just start the install, I can walk away. When I come back, I will have a desktop. Now, it should work for Server 2016 and Server 2019, but I haven't been able to find a working answer file. So when I try to do an unintended install of Server 2019, Server 2016, it always hangs up where you have to choose which version of the operating system you want to use, whether it's the core or it's the full desktop. It stops right there. And there's a line missing in my answer file that dictates what the answer is when the operating system stops, and it looks for that answer, but I haven't found it yet. All right, so you can go on out. Let's see if we can get out here. So you can go on out here to the internet. And let's see. Let's see here. The Windows generator. Now this is where it should be working. This is where you build your answer file. And you can go over here and you can see it's got servers in here, but they're not quite ready yet. You see. Down here inside of the out-of-the-box experience, or whatever it is that question is being asked from, it's not here. You see, there should be something in here about what version of the operating system do you want to use. And I should be able to have a window here, pull that down, and I should be able to select whether it be the desktop or the core version or the data center version, whatever it is. All right. So you can go on out to the internet, you can get this. And if you want to know how to do a unintended install, and it saves you a lot of time. I've always used unintended installs, especially when it comes to supporting end users. If a machine gets infected and I have to wipe it out, if I've done my job and I've done everything correctly up inside of group policy, everything should have been saved on that machine to a file server. So the only thing I got to do is just wipe the machine clean, start an unintended install, and come back in about 5 or 10, 15 minutes and connect that machine to the domain where it'll find its group policy settings, pull down its desktop and its My Documents, install a few applications, and we're good to go. Now, if I didn't do my job, well, now we got a problem, because I'm going to be in what's called a recovery mode, and that's not a good place to be. You don't want to be in a recovery mode when you're listening to some end user talk to you about their pictures and their emails and whatever else is so life important to them. Right? So you don't want to be in that position. So make sure that you understand that what you're learning in these courses is real world. When we talk about disaster recovery and mitigation of loss of a domain controller or any server, when that's real world stuff, because it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. All right. So if you don't take those precautions, then you're going to be in a world of hurt trying to recover either a domain controller, even a user end station, or whatever it is. But there are things that we can do, and I'm showing you this up inside of the course. That's all real world stuff that I've learned over the years. That's how I manage a domain. Okay. All right. So I just want to share that with everybody. Now, again, when will I have these courses published? I'm hoping to have them published. I have something published within the next month or two, right? And that'll probably be my Windows 10 course. That'll probably be my Windows 10 course. And that's probably going to happen because I've been working on that thing forever. But it's going to be a good one, and it's going to be done right. And I've gone back and I've rethought my process of doing the short videos. Yeah, I'm still doing the short videos, but now I've rethunk my teaching process, and I said, you know what, you need to go back and start including the written labs with your courses. It's all great just to be able to make a short video and have somebody follow along, but I need to start doing the labs, the written labs. And that's where I'm at now. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer. All right, so that's your Udemy update. And if you have any questions or concerns, you don't hesitate to reach out, contact me, and I'll try to answer your questions. All right, I'll see everybody up inside of the discussions. Later.